We're on. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Thanks for being so patient. Why are you laughing? Thanks for being so patient with us. And this video is going to be kind of like a live. Y'all know how we do it because we don't have time to edit. But thanks for being patient with us. So many of y'all have commented on my last video just kind of asking, where am I? What's going on? We've been having a lot going on. If you can see in the background, we're in our RV. It's halfway renovated, so we've been doing that. We've had
the blue tape.
Yeah, the painter's tape. We had our baby, so it's been she's a month. No, not even a month. She will when you see this video.
In like 3 days.
Yeah, when you see this video, she'll be a month. So we've been having that going on, trying to raise 3 kids under 3. A lot going on. So thanks for being patient with us. You guys are so sweet. That really made my heart happy to see y'all commenting and just asking for an update. I debated whether to do this video by myself or with Meyer, because usually people do birth videos by themselves. But Meyer was a big part of my birth story, so I decided to include him. So if you want to, you can chime in if you want to, or
yeah.
I don't know how, whatever. I took notes, and so he'll chime in whenever he wants or correct me if I said something wrong. It's a long story, I'm going to tell you now, so it might have to be a 2-part video, but I didn't want to leave anything out. Why are you laughing?
Come on.
I didn't want to leave anything out because I did, like, the details are so important, and God is literally in the details. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. But yeah, so let's jump in. Okay, if I'm looking down, it's because I took notes. It's a long story, y'all. So I'm going to start on Wednesday. My due date was Thursday. I don't even know what the date was.
Was it 12th or 16th?
I think 16th.
16th.
So this would be Wednesday the 15th. And I went to drop my kids off at MDO. Babe, you have to look up at the camera. You can't.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to just stare. That's like weird. Yeah. I'm like staring at them while they. Yeah, I don't know.
Here, let me get you more into the camera so people can see you.
I'll just stare. I just stare at them the whole time.
Okay, so anyways, you can do that.
That's weird. Bro.
Okay, so Wednesday I went to drop off my girls at their Mother's Day Out program and it's at our church. And so when I went, I wasn't feeling pregnant. I was really discouraged. I think I texted my husband and was telling him, yeah, just my state of mind. So I went in, dropped them off, and then because it's at our church, I was like, you know what? Let me just go in the sanctuary, see if I can pray, see, I don't know, just get my mind right at least. And so I went into the sanctuary, and I was there, and I was just like, okay, I can't pray right now. I just thought about something. I forgot to get my journal. But okay, I'll let y'all know about that later. Okay. Anyways, I was like, I can't pray, but Lord, here I am. If you hear me, you hear me. I need a miracle. I need something to happen right now because I'm not feeling pregnant. And I don't want a repeat of last time. So if you haven't watched my last birth video, my failed VBAC, go back and watch that. But yeah, I was just praying and I was real discouraged and I was just listening to my music, just crying. I was like, okay, here I am. And there was like, I'm on the prayer team at our church, so I knew, okay, there's some olive oil, anointing oil here. Just got that, and I just literally just tried to pray. And then I left there, and what happened? Oh, I went to the chiropractor, and so I was already seeing the chiropractor before at the joint. And so if you don't know how the joint works, it's like $70 a month or something like that, and you can go like 4 times a month. And so even though it wasn't the kind of chiropractor you're supposed to see when you're pregnant, I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm paying for, so I might as well try it. It's better than nothing. And I wasn't trying to pay more money to see the type of chiropractor that is actually like certified to do what you need for pregnancy to help with labor. So anyways, I go in there, and there's this small little chick in there, and I'm like, oh dang, like they got a new doctor, like she's not gonna be able to adjust me. I won't lie, I was judging her. And so I went to see her. She's like, hi, like, you know, introduce herself or whatever. And she goes, oh, well, you're in luck because I'm actually, I specialize in pregnancy. So she knows how to do the Webster, I might be saying it wrong, Webster method or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So like literally I lay down. She was able to adjust like my pelvic bone. I know it sounds weird, but that's what they do, and to align me. And I left there, and I was just like, I texted my husband. I was like, you know what? Today, the chiropractor that was there, you know, she was specialized. I was like, I'm going to choose to believe that God hears me and that's a miracle. Because there's this quote that I really like. It's like, you can either choose to believe everything is a coincidence or choose to believe everything's a miracle. So obviously I choose to believe it's a miracle. So that was Wednesday. I was leaving feeling a little bit better. I think I texted you and told you about that. I felt like that was just a little something from God to keep me going. So Thursday was my due date, and even though a due date is just a date, if you're a woman and you've been pregnant, you know, like, going past that due date does something to your mind. So I left there on Thursday, and then Friday came along, and by this point I'm tired because I'm still taking care of my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old, and that is really hard, and I was just exhausted physically, mentally, everything. So at the end of the day, I'm just crying again, journaling, just trying to keep my mind right. And then, what happened? Okay, so I was just like, I need to do something to help this go along. So I get on Amazon, order like blue cohosh, black cohosh, anything that can induce labor. I'm Googling everything. And so I'm ordering it, and it comes in Sunday or whatever. It's supposed to come in Sunday, so I was like, cool, I'll let myself wait Friday, Saturday. If nothing happens, then Sunday it'll be here and I can do what I gotta do. Even though I tried all that stuff last time, it didn't work. So Friday, I'm just like, yeah, I'm fed up. Lord, show me a sign. Do something. I am tired, if anything else. And I started to pray specific prayers. I was like, Lord, show me a sign. And then I was like, I want to have this baby before Meyer goes back to work. Because he only had 3 days.
Yeah, 3.5 days vacation time.
Yeah, so it was like crunch time. And I wanted to have the baby that weekend so that he could be off with me, and I wouldn't have to go through another work week with just taking care of the girls, because I didn't feel like my best self. I didn't feel like I could take care of them, really. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, show me something. Start contractions, start labor. Like, God, I need you to show up. Like, I'm losing hope. And so I prayed that prayer or whatever. I felt relieved after that. And then I went to the bathroom. This is like TMI, but whatever. Anything birth related is TMI. So I went to the bathroom, and I lost my mucus plug, literally, like right after I prayed. And I was like, yes, thank the Lord. And so we went to Target to get cookies, right? Remember we went to Target? Because usually we had been walking like 2 miles every day. So I was like, tonight I don't want to walk. Let's just go to Target, get some cookies, and go home and watch a movie. And so we went to Target. Was it Target? Dang, my memory is so blurred. It wasn't even that long ago. It was Target. Yeah, we went and got those Oreos.
Okay. I don't remember.
You're supposed to be here to help me.
Yeah. I remember like the last 3 days.
Yeah. All that probably clouded. Okay, so this was, so we went to Target, came back home. Oh, and when we got in the car, I told him I didn't want to tell you anything because I don't want to jinx myself. I was like, but I can't be in the mindset of jinxing. I have to just tell you and have faith. So I was like, I feel like we're going to have the baby soon. Like, this weekend soon. Because we were trying to figure out when to get our hotel or Airbnb because we lived an hour away from the hospital. Yeah, so I didn't want to, like, get it too soon where we're wasting money, but get it too late where we're driving. I'm in labor and we're driving an hour and a half or whatever in traffic. So, so I told him, I was like, I feel like after I prayed, I feel like God is really moving things. We're about to have this baby. And so, and my 3-year-old, actually, our oldest, she packed a bag, and I thought that was so weird, right? Like, she was so in tune. She was like, here, Mommy, I packed this bag for the baby, and it just had, like, toys junk. Yeah. But she was like, I packed this for the new baby because, you know, like, pretty much she was preparing for the baby to get there. That was so weird. And then when I told you, you said you also had a feeling that the baby was gonna come. And so it was just kind of like, okay, cool. So that was Friday. Friday night, I started having contractions, which was crazy. And the cool thing is, they were painful, but I was just so grateful because that's what I prayed for. So as they were coming, I wasn't even like complaining. I was just like, thank you, Lord, that like I have contractions. Like, this is really cool. And if you've had a pretty normal labors, you're probably like, that's weird that you thought contractions were cool. But last birth I did experience contractions, but I was in the hospital. But I had never really got to experience contractions without being in the hospital. So I was just so grateful. And then Saturday morning, I was grateful, but at the same time, I had a checklist of stuff that I wanted to finish before I went.
Oh, because you wanted to braid Naomi's hair.
I needed to braid. I wanted to braid my daughter's hair because I
buy a new car.
Yeah, I didn't want her walking around looking crazy while I'm, I can't do her hair for a few weeks. So I wanted to braid her hair. There was this car, a family car. We were trying to buy a family car. I wanted to go look at that before we went into labor. It was a lot. They can't see, but people can't see.
Oh, my bad.
And so it was a lot. And so I got up. I was in, having contractions. I was braiding Naomi's hair, just breathing through contractions, braiding her hair. Mm-hmm. Got that braided. Went to check out the car. It was 45 minutes away. We liked it, and then then we went to his parents' house to drop the girls off. That was 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Drove there to drop the girls off, and then kind of hung out there for a little bit. Now you have to remember, we're doing all this stuff because we knew that we had to go to the hospital at the very last minute to have the best opportunity to have a VBAC. Mm-hmm. A VBAC after 2 C-sections. So we're just trying to do normal life, get stuff done. So we dropped the kids off there right before we go check out the hotel, right? Mm-hmm. We went to dinner. We had dinner. We went to World Market, walked around there. We did a lot. This was Saturday, and I'm having contractions, but they're I can walk through them, I can breathe through them. And then Saturday night, went to the hotel. And I have to tell y'all this might sound random, but it's an important fact. So we went to the hotel, and we get there. It was the sketchiest hotel ever.
Outside, it looked fine.
It was beautiful outside. It was a new hotel.
But the inside,
it was horrible. And I was like, babe, I'm not trying to be picky because I'm also cheap, but I like decent stuff. I don't want to be a Roach Motel or sketchy. But y'all, the spirit in that hotel was so heavy. The people were so strange. And not even in a judgy way, but people were literally looking like they were on drugs, the type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But listen, I was having contractions. We didn't have time to try to find nothing else or go through all of that. So that is where we had to stay. But I will tell y'all this part of the story because it just shows how God was keeping us. Saturday night, I was having really pretty intense contractions. My friend came over. She was talking to us. And we were just hanging out. And that night I couldn't sleep because I was having contractions. That's another part of the story. I wasn't sleeping really well since Friday all the way till when I gave birth. I pretty much was up those nights. But Saturday I was up and I heard all this banging. And then when my husband, the next morning when we got up on Sunday, I was like, babe, did you hear all that noise coming from above us? It was so loud. He was like, no, there's no way because we're on the top floor. So I was like, okay, well, I just chalked it up to being delusional for birth. And what happened? Oh, so I let it go. And then I was on Facebook, and a lot of our church members were talking about this girl that had been kidnapped. She was with her mom, and a man just literally walked up and snatched the girl, put her in the car, and kidnapped her. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was watching the news, I think, where they were telling the story. And I was kind of being funny, but not funny. And I know it's not a funny situation. I was like, babe, what if this man was... Because the police found him in a hotel with the girl. I was like, what if that was this hotel? It was that hotel. Yeah. And it was this girl that had, bless her heart, they found her, she's safe, everything's okay, but this man has a record, and they found him in that hotel. He was on the third floor, so the floor under us. And so I wasn't hearing the noise from above us because it sounded like boom, 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 like oh my gosh, police officers. So the noise was the police officers getting him, but that's what I'm putting together the story. It was under us, so it wasn't over. So it wasn't too crazy. It just wasn't above us. Mm-hmm. It was under us. And so I'm like, wow, the Lord kept us through all that sketchiness. So we were right. This place was totally sketchy. But God just had his hand on us. But then the spirit was heavy. So we were feeling all that while trying to have birth. So it was just a weird situation. That's Saturday. So moving on to Sunday, we go to sleep. Sunday we wake up. We're like, oh, we trying to go to church? No, absolutely not. Because I'm in so much pain. We were close to our church, but I was like, we can't do this. We can't pull this off. What happens? So Sunday, I'm like, okay, let's go to Sprouts because I need to get some.
We went to Sprouts. Then
I'm looking for stuff to go into labor, but I'm already in labor, so we're walking around stores. It was really silly.
So we went to Sprouts. You was fine. You had some contractions.
I have some intense ones at Sprouts.
Yeah, then we went to Walmart.
Yeah, it
intensified. So we'll be walking maybe 50 feet, and she got to stop.
And bend over. I'm talking the methods that you learn in class to take care of your pain. People are looking at us like we're crazy.
Like, bro, like, why are you here?
Yeah, why? Why are you here? Because they don't understand. Like, we got to go through this thing in order to have they didn't know the goal. So, we're walking out of Walmart, and this lady, I have the most intense contractions. So at this point, I'm over, like, literally leaning over like, both hands, like, leaning over him, like, crunched down. And this lady's like, is she in labor? I know that look. She's in labor. And so I was annoyed. I'm trying not to be annoyed because this lady is being, like, really helpful.
Yeah, she was being
cared. Yeah. And so she's like, do you want me to go get the car? And I didn't think about it until later when I was telling my friend. I'm like, first of all, we don't know this lady. Like, we don't just hand you our keys so you can roll up and get our car. We're like, no, we're good. Like, we don't need you to go get the car. So yeah, we leave Walmart, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm still obviously not having a baby, so let me go to the chiropractor. So we go to the chiropractor. She adjusts me again. Mm-hmm. We go get a sandwich from Subway because I'm starving but can't eat. So if you've ever been in labor, you understand the point. And Meyer obviously is hungry, so we go get something to eat. And then I'm like, okay, I need to go settle down. Like, all this moving around, like, I just need to go sit down. So we go back to the hotel. It's about lunchtime, right? Yeah. We go back, eat. I'm able to eat something, and then we are just watching TV, trying to relax.
Yeah, then we went and got some Long John Silver's.
No, that's not.
It is.
You're just as delusional as I was. It wasn't Long John Silver's. Meyer wanted some fish.
It's Captain D's.
But that was after we relaxed a little bit. So then we're like, okay, we need dinner. So it's almost about dinner time. So we go to get some Captain D's, and which wasn't very good. No. And so we walk in thinking we're about to really sit down and just have a dinner. And we walk in, and I'm like having a contraction, and the Captain D's guy, like, he was sweet. He was like, is she okay? Like, you need anything? I always think it's cool when a guy notices, like, a woman in labor, and he's like stopping and trying to see if there's anything to do it, because they don't really, I'm not gonna assume they don't know. Maybe he's had kids and stuff.
I mean,
but I
probably still don't know what to do.
Yeah, or they just don't know the signs, or you know what I mean. I just think that's really nice. Anyways, so he's like, you need anything? I'm like, no, but we're gonna go. So we go. I don't know why we thought we was gonna sit down. We go through the drive-thru, get our food, get back to the hotel. I can't really eat again, and I don't know if it's because food was bad or I just couldn't eat. I think it was a combination. And so I don't eat, but we don't go anywhere. So I'm just like, let me just focus on, like, laboring. And I think I got in the tub. We put some oils and tried all that because I'm in pain at this point. Things are picking up. And getting more intense. I got in the tub, and I think that night.
Yeah, we went to the hospital.
What time? Like 7, 8, 9?
Yeah, somewhere, not too late.
We don't know our time.
Then you were only dilated like 1 or 2.
So we get to the hospital. Yeah. It's like 15 minutes from our hotel. Yeah. I get there, and I was dilated 1 centimeter, and I was like, but then I don't know if you remember, but he was like, your body's not broken, like, you, because I remember just crying and being like, the last time I was pregnant, I felt like my body was broken because I just felt like I couldn't dilate, and really it was because all the other stuff, they wouldn't give me time, but I just felt like, so when he said that, I was like, okay, it switched me over from being like disappointed I'm 1 centimeter to like grateful, okay, I'm 1 centimeter, things are happening. So I was so happy that, because I was nervous about going there because I didn't want them to keep me if I wasn't ready. And so I was so happy they gave me the opportunity. She was like, do you want to stay here or go home? If you stay here, we'll have to hook you up. So, you know, pretty much she was, this midwife, I loved her. She's a part of the midwife group that I was with. And she was like, you could go home. And I was like, yes, I'm going to go home. Definitely, hands down. We're like, we'll go home. Because we know I'm progressing. But, which I'm so grateful that, because Meyer's just as crazy as I am, and he was like rooting for the process. So I was grateful that we were able to push through at Walmart and Sprouts, because I knew I needed all that, because I knew I wasn't dilated. If you watch my update video, I hadn't dilated at all. So I knew I needed to go through all this shit. And I kind of knew that my body was going to be one of those bodies that dilated when it was game time and not beforehand. So we went back to the hotel, which is about 15 minutes away from the hospital. Yeah, so we drove back. The drives were awful, and I think that's next time what I would do differently is I need a labor where I'm gonna give birth. So if I don't have to give birth in the hospital, I'm definitely doing that. So next time what happened, we went back to the hospital, and this video will probably break somewhere in between here because it's getting long for a part 2, but I don't know, we're just doing it. Okay, so I get back to the hotel, right? And I'm like, okay, we'll just labor here. That's when stuff got super intense. Like, even the lady gave me something relaxing. What did she give me? I don't know. Did I take? I took it, right?
I don't know. Nothing,
whatever.
It didn't work. Regardless what it was.
Oh my gosh. And at this point, like, I'm ashamed to say, but not really. Because if you watch any of my other videos, I was planning for there's something flying in here. A supernatural birth where pretty much you're in tune with the Holy Spirit. You're not feeling pain because, you're praying. All that went out the window. I wasn't there yet. Like, my faith levels weren't there. I think I'll be ready like, if I have another baby, that I'll be ready then. But here, I just lost all control. I was feeling it was so intense. It was nighttime at this point, so I was like, well, let me try to get some sleep. In the morning, I'll wake up, we'll have us a baby. No. At this point, I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And so every time I would lay down to go to sleep, the pain would be so intense that I would have to get up. And I think I was more sad that I was hurting and I was tired.
Yeah.
I remember just crying like, I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep. I remember just saying that. That's all I want.
It's like every 7 minutes or 5 minutes.
I get up.
Boom.
And it would just be so intense. And I couldn't sleep. I was just tired because this has been going on for hours now. And so it got to a certain point where it was like, I remember waking up. First Meyer was sleeping and then waking up with me. And then I remember I woke up and he was just standing up. Like, but I remember thinking like, okay, I made the right marriage decision. Like, for real, I was like, that I thought that was so awesome. Like, to wake up and you were just awake. Like, you just made a decision, I guess, to stay awake.
Yeah, I was like, nah, bro, I'm just not gonna sleep.
Yeah, and so I think that was cool that you weren't feeling the pain, but you were like in tuned enough. So I was really grateful for that. And so I would wake up and he would just be up. And so I like every time, and so then eventually I was like, okay, like, I don't know what's happening, but we gotta go, because we were still trying to play the game of, do we leave now, and go there but not be there too early, but not be in the car trying to give birth, whatever. And so I was like, no, I think let's just go because this is too intense. Something is happening. I don't know what's happening. Something is happening. So at this point, I think, is it like 3 a.m. in the morning? I have no idea.
Like 2
or 3, yeah. And so we go in, and honestly, when we pulled up, I was so scared because I was just like, I guess a part of me knew that walking into the hotel, first of all, the drive there was super intense, but when I got out, I knew that, like, going into this hospital, we were going to have a baby, like, whether it be C-section or vaginal, like, this is it. And so, I remember, I don't know if you remember me saying this, but I remember my anxiety raising, and I knew that from the books and stuff I was reading that could stall labor. So I told myself walking in, I was like, you know what? God is the God of this hospital. He's the God of these doctors. I don't know if you remember me saying that, but, like, he's the God of these nurses. And now looking back, I realized how significant that prayer was, because I had to let myself know, like, they're not in control, because that's kind of the reason why I have so much anxiety about giving birth in the hospital, because it feels like they're in control and they just tell you what to do and you have to do it. Mm-hmm. And I remember just praying that prayer for myself and telling myself that God is still God in this hospital. Like, he can control these situations. And so I told myself that. We went in. At this point, I can't even walk. I'm in so much pain and tired, really. And so Myers, like, pushes me in the wheelchair. And I did not want to be that mom, like, because you really don't need to be in a wheelchair because you're giving labor, like, the stuff you see in the movies. It wasn't like I was screaming or anything, but I was tired. And so he took me in there. They checked me, and I was 4 to 5 centimeters. And so I was just like, what happened? Oh, yeah, we were excited about that. I was like, okay, we're halfway there. Like, this thing is going to happen. I feel comfortable staying in the hospital because, you guys can't screw me over. That's what I was thinking. Like, we're so close to the finish line. There's no reason why this would turn into a C-section. That's what I was thinking. And so they're like, okay, should we give you, I was so tired. Should we give you epidural so you can rest and get some sleep? And at this point, I'm like, whatever, just give it to me. And because I knew that if I was this exhausted, I knew that could turn into a C-section, just being tired, and then it would have to be an emergency C-section, which they would have to put me to sleep, and I wouldn't be able to see the birth of my child, and I did not want that. So they gave it to me, and I was able to sleep, and then I wake up. I think at this point it's like 6 or 7. They checked me. I hadn't progressed. And so, is that when she broke my water? She's like, I want to break your water.
Yeah.
So that we can speed it up. And I knew that could either lead to cascade events, or it really could help progressed labor, but I also knew that I would have 24 hours from that moment before they had to do a C-section to get the baby. So I was like, okay, I feel comfortable doing that. So they broke my water, and then we were sitting there, and what happened? Oh, then some hours passed, and they checked me again. They're doing the monitoring, which I hate, the fetal monitoring. And they check me. She checks me again. No progress. And but I don't think she was really tripping then, right? So I was like on the ball and like doing stuff. And then I think maybe a few hours later, she comes and checks me again. She's like, okay, well, we're not progressing at all. And just start saying these things that sound familiar to me from the last time. And by then I start stressing out. I'm like, okay, I don't like the way that this sounds or the way this is going. And so she checks me again, and I'm still like 4 to 5 centimeters. And so she's like, okay, we need to do the monitoring on the inside. Remember? She's like,
they're saying like something about the heart rate.
Heart rate is looking whatever. But to us, we're watching it, and we have learned how to monitor it, and it doesn't even look that dramatic. But they put the fetal monitoring in me, and I was like, I want to wait for the baby. She said that's fair. She don't want to do that, but whatever, because the idea of just sticking that thing in my baby's head, it honestly freaks me out. So she was like, okay, we'll wait, that's fair, whatever. So then they come back. She's like, no, I need to put it in the baby's head. So she puts it in the baby's head, and they're monitoring, and she's like, yeah, we're not liking it. And I was like, okay, let me do some of my exercises, right? That's when I asked her, can I do movements and just get up, kind of. They're like, oh no, you can't move, like we don't feel comfortable with that. So they leave. Then I said, I feel like it's worth the try. Y'all are talking C-section. I feel like we need to do everything that we can to prevent the C-section. And I think that's where my trust breaks with like the medical system, is like, we're not trying everything we can. You aren't even educated on spinning babies, which I feel like it has changed the game for a lot of women having to have C-section. So if you're planning on doing a VBAC, look up spinning babies. But I wanted to do like this little move inversion, so I had to go upside down on my elbows, but they had me hooked up to fluids, all this stuff. They're like, we can't do it. I'm like, whatever. So they leave, and me and Mary are like, let's just do it. So I did it, and they come back in.
Yeah, because when she did it, then the
the heart
rate monitor for the baby was like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So like 2 nurses just run in, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
We was like, oh, we was just doing something.
Yeah.
And they was like, oh, okay, so.
Yeah, so they come in, freak out, and they set me back up how I'm supposed to be. And so then after I do that, honestly, I'm feeling a lot of pressure, but the lady's like, I think we're going to have to do a C-section. And so she's like telling me all this stuff, and she was like, well, how do y'all feel about that? And I looked at her, I was just like, I feel like I've come too far. Like, how did we end up here? Like, how do we end up to where we're talking about a C-section? And so she's like, well, you're not progressing. I mean, we can wait, but I don't feel comfortable continuous waiting and just seeing this like this. And I don't even know what she's talking about, because she's like talking about the fetal being distressed, but the things aren't even.
Yeah, the things weren't jumping.
Things weren't lining up.
But it's funny because when the heart rate was kind of irregular. Mm-hmm. Who that? I guess it's one. Who that? Star?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still shooting.
Your child pooped.
Okay. Change her.
Mommy told me to come tell you this.
No, we don't need to.
Which one?
Mommy told me to come get you.
Is it baby?
We're almost done.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can wipe her.
Yeah. That's my niece. She's babysitting, but came to tell us the baby pooped. And y'all are going to get all this because I'm not going to edit it out. Okay, so what? Oh, yeah. What were you saying? It's funny because you said when she was.
Oh, yeah. So when it was irregular, then I kind of understood, like, okay, we need to make sure the heart rate is consistent, blah, blah, blah. All right. But when she finally put the monitor on Trinity's head, like, it was pretty constant, pretty consistent. But she never came in and told us, like, hey, things looking good. So she was just being, like, Captain Negative, bro. Just want to come and tell us bad news, but not tell us good news.
Yeah, and this is the one midwife, and I hate to be negative and say this, but there's, like, 5 or 6 women in the group, and this is the one midwife. I was like, Lord, don't let her deliver my baby. Because when I had her in the office, even for a checkup, she was just so negative and so, like, well, it is what it is. You know, one of those medical people, and I was just like, I'm not here for this. But anyways, yeah, so she was like, just started the C-section where it like just started coming up, and it was like that was the plan. And I was like, I just don't. She was like, what do you think? I was like, I feel like that's so unnecessary. Like, how do we get here? I was like, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure. Will you check me? So she checked me. Nothing had changed, and so they left. And I was like, just give me time, because I remember in my books they were like the alternative is always to wait. And so I remember that, and I'm so glad that stuck with me. I was like, just give me time. Let's just wait and see what happens. So we waited, a few hours. She was like, okay. She came back in to check me. Nothing changed. She was like, I don't feel comfortable waiting. She was like, we need to do a C-section.
It was only 12 hours.
Yes, and I knew, like, I was like, what is the rush? Like, we're not at the 24